From NBC News, this is Today.
40 years after the feminist movement, women still make less, work more, and fall victim to both disease and abuse at rates far outweighing men. It can be a frustrating cycle that some experts believe is rooted as much in politics as psychology. Cheryl Saban is a psychologist, philanthropist, and author of the new book, What is Your Self-Worth? A Woman's Guide to Validation. Cheryl, good morning to you.
Good morning, Meredith.
When you look at some of these numbers, it's really staggering. 3/5 of the world's poor are female. 1 in 4 American women still suffer domestic violence. Why still such a divide, do you think?
You know, I think that we're so enmeshed in antiquated cultural rules, stereotypes. Women are a little afraid of power, there's a dysfunction, there's an unequal power base. We're not really using our voices the way we could.
And you're an example of somebody who for a long time was not using your voice. You were headed down a very dark path. You were raped when you were 18. By the time you were 34, had been married and divorced twice. You found yourself a single mom. You couldn't afford health care. And then you had what you say was your aha moment. What happened?
You know, I finally discovered that though I couldn't change the facts of my life, I could change the way I thought about those facts. And this discovery came about, I think, when I went to a free clinic to get medical care. But finding out that in order for me to express my unique self, my self-worth, my authentic person, I needed to take responsibility for doing that.
And now you're trying to help other women do that, and you have various tips or steps, really, that women need to take to empower themselves and change their lives. The first is find your own voice. How so?
We all have a story to tell. We all have a narrative, a chance to be part of, you know, the global communication, to change the rules that create society for us. So we need to tell our stories. We need to be part of that narrative.
Don't be afraid of it.
Don't be afraid.
Then you say learn financial responsibility and stop engaging in negative behavior.
From 80 to 90% of women are going to be solely responsible for their finances at some point in their life. It shouldn't be at the end of your life when you don't have a chance to make a living. We need our young girls to learn this, to understand financial security, financial knowledge is independence.
It's real
freedom.
Power.
It's power.
And finally, you say love yourself first and then give back to others.
We cannot possibly attract love and the kind of lives we want and the fulfillment if we don't love ourselves first. It starts right here. Self-worth emanates from within. We need to start here. And then once you have found that, you give back. You give back to society, you share what you know with other women.
And you have an announcement to make that speaks exactly to that.
My goal with writing this book is to make sure, to help women who feel worthless to feel worth it instead. And so I'm not just trying to give advice with this book. I've created a self-worth foundation, and I'm putting $10 million in it to give to women's funds and special projects. And the very first one is going to Women's Funding Network and Axion.
Cheryl Saban, thank you so much. A very worthwhile cause.
Thank you.
And a very important book for women in terms of empowerment. And we will be back after your local news.